I politely refused, for all I wanted was revenge. Because you know what they say, an eye for an eye, eat shit and die. Children often want to become someone special when they grow up. Some kids want to become astronauts. Some kids want to be doctors. Some Asian parents want their kids to become doctors. Some kids are secretly into being supervillains because of bullying and they just want to inflict pain and suffering on people. But, you know, that's not me. I'm just saying. But some kids dream bigger. They want to become part of something more special. A part of a family. A part of a mafia. Okay, that's probably not true. I don't know about that, but kids are getting weirder every day, so who knows? As any typical mobster would do, I started my day in a humble diner. There I met a shady cop, shadier than a prostitute claiming to be allergic to bodily fluids before midnight. While Detective Shady McSchmuck was too busy lubricating his tubes with booze early in the morning, I was there to talk business, but not before I tell a quick backstory of how I met your mobster.
I was a cab driver back in '30.
It was a quiet evening. I was there minding my own business, decreasing my lifespan 11 minutes at a time. Then I was interrupted by two guys who seemed to be running away from people with strong opinions on pineapples on pizza. In good conscience, I helped them escape because that is what a good person would do. As I hit an innocent old lady, causing her untimely and painful death, I managed to shake off my pursuers, which was absolutely the relief we needed. When one of my newfound mobster friend walked up to my cab with an envelope in hand, I thought I was finally getting a lewd proposal from a mobster. Turns out, it was just money. Can't say I was disappointed though. And then he said this.
Scratches on your car. You swerved to keep from hitting a little old lady. You got it?
Which was funny because we swerved, but not to keep from hitting the old lady. I certainly had an interesting night, but it was back to reality for me. Back to driving my cab and make a living. I had a couple of fares that day, and being the responsible driver that I am, I got them to their destinations with safety as top priority. Driving a cab doesn't pay much, but it is honest work. Just like selling drugs to rehabilitated people on a Sunday afternoon after church. And honest workers do need to take a break. That was exactly what I did that afternoon. At times like this, there's nothing quite like a hot cup of joe and a good ass whooping to get the juices flowing. Turns out, the anti-pineapple on pizza movement from last night were still on to me. I wanted to stand up to those bullies for what is right that day, but I remembered what Theodore Roosevelt once said. Knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you have friends in the Mafia. At first I didn't know what that meant, but now it has struck my heart. I thought to myself, I sure am glad to see my newfound friends that day, but after seeing their faces in broad daylight, I am certain to have nightmares to haunt me for the rest of my life. The day has finally come. I finally met Don Salieri. He was quite a guy, shorter than expected, and probably had way too much ravioli, but quite a guy. I told him my story and he was kind enough to help me get a new cab. But I politely refused, for all I wanted was revenge. Because you know what they say, an eye for an eye, eat shit and die. The boss approves of my revenge, but he first wanted me to meet some of his guys, starting with Vincenzo. He's quite an enthusiastic lad. A bit too much for my taste, but holy shit. Look at Polly's face. That is just the stuff of nightmares. F*** me dead. Next we meet Steve Buscemi. Ralphie. He's our car guy. He genuinely seems like a nice guy and oh my god, it's Polly's face again. Shit. Ralphie hooked us up with wheels slower than Spider-Man's web swing in the Avengers DLC. But I didn't mind because this is a mere tool to exact my revenge. Once we arrived, I felt the need to warm up for the job. Taking inspiration from the hardworking Japanese people when they do their morning routine at work. But instead of doing stretches, I beat the living shit out of the people around me. Highly recommended for mental health. Warmed up and good to go, I carried on and followed Polly. He then says,
Hey, you go quiet.
I then threw a punch with a loud grunt as Polly seemed to agree.
Yeah, like that.
I'm glad that we're both on the same page when it comes to stealth. Polly also said,
No one sees our heads. No one tries the purple.
Now that can either be a good or a bad advice depending on the situation you're in. After fulfilling the least satisfying revenge in history, we had to bail immediately before they send more guys to take us out. So we took the conveniently parked car in the garage and made a run for it. We picked up some heat during our escape, so the best course of action is to keep a low profile and stay out of sight. So that was exactly what we did.
What part of stay out of sight wasn't clear?
Eventually we got in the clear, and the boss couldn't be happier to see us. I saw it in his eyes. He was proud of his boys, and Jesus Christ, can someone please give Polly a mask? Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe and I will really appreciate it. Until then, I will see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay awesome, Possum.